Yo, Bootleg Kev podcast.
Yes.
On the road with Jelly Roll, baby.
The road with the roll, dude.
First of all, man, congratulations, the new album. I text you this, but I truly feel, I know, it's you know, coming from the hip-hop side of things, to say classic when I hear a project a couple of times straight through, I feel like this is a classic body of work. We're going to look back at this.
I'm super proud of it, dude. It's the most time I've ever spent on a single body of work.
And it's 28 songs.
It's a lot of music. Dude, I wrote like 150, 160 or something.
It's so crazy because even if like I go back to like your old school shit, like your songwriting to me has always been pretty superior in terms of like your ability to write certain hooks, like, you know, thinking back to like Sunday Morning or Smoking Section. But it feels like the songwriting has just like, it's hit its peak. Like I feel like you're in your prime with the pen right now.
I think I'm getting close. I don't think I'm there yet. Because I'm starting to like learn more about music too.
Yeah.
So the more I understand how the top line, like the lyric side of what I do, works with the music side of what's happening under it, the more dangerous I'm getting with understanding how this all works together, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting too because like I think of a song like you. First of all, you kicked the album off with "Winning Streak," which is crazy because I grew up going to NA and AA meetings. My uncle had a drug rehab and he's a recovering addict. My dad's a recovering addict. So my summer job used to be to sit in the back of those meetings.
Wow.
As like a 14 and 15-year-old.
Wow.
Collect people's stuff, you know, like, because it was a part of like people who were on probation, you know.
Did you understand at that age how impactful what was happening in front of you was, or no?
I think so, man, because you would just see people break down, and like I know, you know, I always like I never have touched any like I would say hard drugs. I've done shrooms and weed and, you know, a little bit of Molly, but I've never like put nothing up my nose and shit because of my I've seen it with my own eyes, like,
right.
You know,
the dangers of it. You got to see it at its absolute worst. It's crazy that you got to see the impact and understood the impact at that age too, because some what happens in those rooms is magical at times, man.
Right.
It's also hilarious. I've heard some of the funniest stories of my life ever in those rooms.
Because I heard you talk about it a little bit on Joe, but like how often do you try to get into a meeting and like at this point you're Jelly Roll, so I can only imagine you walking into a meeting.
Nah, man, that's kind of one of the cool things about going to a meeting is they take the anonymous side of that really serious. So that's why I haven't talked a lot about it, because I don't know how much they would want me sharing what happens in those rooms or not, dude, you know, but it's just so magical. But yeah, man, that's the cool thing is that never bothered at all, man.
Yeah.
Never bothered at all. Anytime you go, man, they're just, you know, you're just another addict, you're just another alcoholic to them. That's how they look at you, man.
It feels like when
it's just really humiliation, it's this thing of humiliation that happens in there in a way of like humbling, though, like in a good way of like, no matter how great we're doing today, we always reduce ourselves to know that we're still that addict at heart. So we could, at any moment, this thing could go left for us. And what keeps people in constant gratitude.
I was going to ask you, man.
To answer your question, because I hate avoiding questions, as much as I can go.
Right.
You know, these days, a few a year. You know what I mean? 10 a year, maybe.
What has there been like any specific feedback you've gotten from that song, and just being like, wow, someone? Because I can't recall someone who's tackled that experience on a record, let alone kicking off an album. You know?
Yeah, it's been cool, man. I haven't got I've been so, dude. I hate to admit this, I've been so in the vortex of this thing right here.
Yeah.
I just today took the time to look at like critical reviews of my album.
You
know what I mean? It's been.
Do you care about that though?
No, not at all. But it just popped up on my feed, and I actually had time today to entertain it.
Right.
I didn't go search for it.
Right.
I just, you know, it's like it's there, and it's album review, and then you hit one, and you know how news feeds do on Google. It just immediately gives you the row, and you're like, well, what did Pitchfork say? What did Rolling Stone say? You know. And more than anything, it's not that I care about it. I'm just still so new to this. I care that they cared. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if you shit on the album. The fact that you took the time to review a 28-song album that I put out is still fucking insane to me. That people care enough about what I'm doing, you know?
Yo, if by the time this comes out,
think about that. Somebody got paid
to listen to your music and give an opinion,
like a real deal, like well thought out. Like, dude, thank you. Yeah, I'm honored.
Like I mean, shit. Growing up, like, and the Source was such a big deal when you would like go and look at the mics, and but again, it'd be like just having people give a fuck from Pitchfork or, You know,
For sure.
if someone talked to you 15 years ago, 10 years ago, shit, 8 years ago,
I would be so excited. The review could have just been a shit on me, and I've been like, I'm getting reviewed, and that's still how I feel now. So yeah, but I just now I'm starting to see like the effects of the music that's happening. Even past yesterday, I kind of missed how big that moment was on TikTok for the first few days of like 12, 15, 20,000 women just sharing their story. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy too, because the success of that moment on TikTok is what kind of it sped up you dropping the deluxe.
Yeah, exactly. We planned to drop the deluxe, but it was like I was going to wait a few days or maybe even a week and see if I needed to come back around. And I was kind of inspired by Post Malone because, remember, he dropped F1 Trillion and it had all these features. And then he dropped like 7 songs called the Long Bed Edition right after with 7 songs that were solo. I had these 5 like fire features come in the bottom of the 9th inning. Like, people showed up for me like Halsey, Russ, Keith Urban, Ernest. Like, all those features showed up for me like within a week of releasing.
Crazy. Now, because I remember hearing you working on some of these records, like at the beginning of the tour, just in a room backstage.
Yeah.
And like these,
we were still writing "Beautifully Broken" on the "Beautifully Broken" tour. I never thought of it that way, Kev. That's right. That's true.
That is pretty crazy.
That's a great way to put it. That's why you're a good interview.
If you're watching this, there's a good chance by the time this is released that you had the #1 album. Your first #1 album.
Yes, it was either me or Rod Wave, and
it's up. Look,
he
the
probably
battle's
deserved
up.
It more than me, and I'm happy for him.
But it's crazy to think how far you've come, bro. Like, you know, I always say when I think of music, you are an anomaly in terms of your career path. Like, this doesn't happen. I don't know if it'll ever happen again. I think that you've always heard this from when, you know, however many 50 to 100 or 300 or 400 people seaters you were doing. But I feel like what's always been synonymous with you is when people meet you, they love you. Right. And I feel like that's just happening now on a worldly stage.
Yes.
And just talk like how big of a deal is that, man? Because the last album was #5, right?
Yeah, I think last album was 5, and I was blown away that we were in that car. That's what I was talking to Joe about, and I love Joe's perspective. I needed it this week.
Yeah,
album week when Joe was like, "Don't worry about a #1 album, dude. Just worry about being Jelly Roll, man. Don't stare at the sun." That'll stick with me forever. But for me, it's still just like, I guess just being in the conversations are still so new to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I read the first time that hits whatever Daily Double drops and it goes Jelly Roll and Rod Wave within X amount of thousands of each other for what could be first week #1. And I'm a enormous Rod Wave fan.
Yeah, he's great.
Like a huge Rod, and as an artist, as a human, like how he's handled himself in Critical Appeal and the songs and just what he stands for. And I feel like we're singing the exact same song, just over 2 different beds of music.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, it's like, I would say that we're in the same house, just, you know, we're in different rooms. You know what I mean? That's what's happening, right, with Jelly Roll and Rod Wave anyway. So just even being that kind of conversation with him or Charlie XCX and these are pop stars to me.
Hey,
you know
I don't know if you know this. You're a fucking pop star.
Oh, that's crazy talk. That's crazy.
It's funny, every time we see each other after some time, we'll be like, yo, it's getting weird, ain't it?
It's getting weird.
And
it is getting weird.
It's getting weird.
I'll admit that to you, though. On and off camera, it's getting weird, but in a good way. But it's still weird.
But dude, it's like if I'm watching the Super Bowl and you're in a commercial, and then I'm watching SummerSlam and you're fucking, by the way, pulling off what an amazing choke slam.
Oh, listen,
it was.
You
got that motherfucker up there.
Listen, I hate to say this. I'll get in trouble for just saying this. I've had one of the best years ever. If I have a #1 album this week, I've had a #1 album, Saturday Night Live. I mean, I was invited to the Grammys for the first time this year. This is all this year. And I'm turning 40. I'm going to be 40 this year. And I can still tell you that I think SummerSlam is probably the coolest moment of the year.
Oh, for sure.
It's just hard to beat, dude. It's like I got slimed. That's up there, too.
That was cool, yeah.
But for me, these were big moments for me because I've talked about this a little bit, but not the way I really want to. Is like, this was like inner child moments for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as a kid who grew up in the system, and everybody knows my story. They're exhausted hearing it. I don't want to talk about it no more neither. But just knowing where I'm from, I was, by some decisions I made, had to grow up a little earlier than most people.
Yeah.
So because of that, I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, you bring me back and slime me? You circle back around and I get to choke slam somebody and I get to listen. And they brought me in full face.
Right.
A-Town down
straight.
under, just
yeah.
healing off, just doing what they do best, just Grayson and Austin just wilding people up. And I get to come in with a chair shot. And then listen, here's the shoot on it. I shot on it a little bit with Logan, but here's a real shoot on this too, Kev. Austin Theory's a hero in this. Grayson's a hero in this. Miz, R-Truth. Dude, R-Truth is one of the best humans on earth.
I've heard that about him.
One of the sweetest, most down-to-earth, what can I do to help you, loving dudes you will ever meet. His character where he confuses stuff is so hilarious, but like if that wasn't his character, that's a piece of his soul anyways.
Yeah.
Like just that lighthearted spiritedness of who he is. And I realized really early when I was working with all of these dudes that they were doing everything they could to make me look as good as I could.
Yeah, that whole Jelly Roll spoof he had, it kind of set you up. Like I've like that first appearance you did, and he had the jelly. Like, it's so good,
dude. It's like it was cool, man. So like that, watching them rally, and when you realize that, it gives you a whole new respect for wrestling.
Yeah.
I always say it to guys when I tell Eric Church or guys, they don't know the language sometimes, but I'm like, man, in the wrestling world, Post Malone, when he put me on his album, I was like, yo, this is called giving me the rub.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're pulling me over right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Putting me over.
You're putting me over, dude. It's like you're giving me the rub right now. And I realized that's why that business has stayed big for so many years. I wish music would steal that from them. The idea of constantly trying to pull people, get people over.
Help put people over.
Constantly trying to put people over, constantly trying to give people the rub. Like watching.
I think Drake did that for a long time. People,
Because even in Austin's shoes, his idea was like, I know I'm taking a bump here. And listen, Austin is a world-class wrestler. He has no business allowing an overweight musician choke slamming him on SummerSlam.
You got him up there, man.
You know what I mean?
He sold it too.
But it's in his mind, it's like, no, this is what's best for all of us in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we all do this right, this clip could be big for all of us. This could be big for the entire wrestling world. Yeah. This could be new eyeballs on wrestling. This is how they think of every decision they make back in those locker rooms. And I admire it, dude. And thank you for letting me come on here and get to shoot on that a little more, because it's like, I'm also obsessed. I am ready to put a ring in the backyard.
Yeah, I ran into a Rumble in Tampa.
Yeah. I was just there hanging.
Yeah.
Remember, we were both just there. You was with your son.
Yeah.
We were just there on some
now I'm a fan,
whatever
dude.
stuff.
No, it's great. It's interesting to see.
That's something else I'm proud of. I've never been worked into the show for any reason but being a fan of the show.
Right. Because you were just there.
Exactly. It was never like a media thing or like businesses
hey, let's do
put
something
people
that
together.
makes sense. Yeah, exactly.
This was real deal. Like, hey, I'm coming to Monday Night Raw anyways. How early am I allowed to get there, and who can I meet? And then when I'm there and they see that I'm such a fan, they're like, man, we should work this dude into the show.
Have you become friends
with Randy's the homie. So Randy, I just met him, but he's just immediately was like, oh, I love this. Let's do this. You know what I mean? He immediately was like drawn into bringing me into the storyline with him, which was super, super cool, because he's seen that I was a fan too. And he told me that afterwards. Randy was like, he's like, it's a lot of people that come through here that kind of know what we're doing, but they're not necessarily as, he's like, man, I admire the grace you showed back here, like the respect. Because, I mean, I walk around that thing about hat off like, yo, I have a lot of respect for what they do back there, man. Huge fucking wrestling fan, Kev. Huge wrestling fan.
Talk to me about this moment we're in where there's a lot of cross-genre happening in the country direction. Yeah. And I feel like you're kind of the first person that did it in a serious way. But you kind of did it in a way that was a lot different than some of the artists we're seeing now. Like, you kind of did it, you were an underground artist initially, right? Like, and then doing country was always something that was natural to you, but it's what changed your life. Right. Do you feel like the trend of the genre of country music is being like, it feels like everyone's doing country? It just and like, not necessarily from a place of like even being a fan of the music, it just feels like it's the thing to do. Like from your perspective, as kind of being the first guy to kind of, people would look at you as a rapper initially, right? To have all this success, like from how you see it, how do you see what's going on right now with everybody kind of flocking to the genre?
I think it's country music finally getting its turn.
Yeah.
Is my perspective. It's like we've actually got to watch every other genre get its turn on critical mass, but never country.
Right.
There would be artists here and there that would get
like Shania Twain,
that
Garth,
would get big enough that
right.
Country's always been represented in critical mass
For sure.
at the Grammys, AMAs, VMAs,
right.
All these different facets, but I think it's just like the natural evolution of like it was just kind of country's turn finally. It was a great time to be there. I think that the only thing I have to do with that is luck of just waiting out long enough to be around, long enough to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of the John Cena story. The CM Punk stories are kind of John Cena's just like he was just consistently there. Mm-hmm. You just always show up and you're always there. It's like all of a sudden you can eventually become the guy. It's the law.
Because I feel like you gave Post the rub.
No, Post gave me the rub. Because, well, listen.
Post is Post, but I feel like in this world, like, it's you giving him the rub.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a weird thing, man. It's like Post and Beyonce, what they did was just bringing a bigger spotlight to what was already overwhelmingly, like,
right.
If country couldn't have got any bigger, the two of the 5 biggest pop stars on earth was like,
Period.
We're going to go do country albums this year. It's like, it couldn't. Man, I sound silly when I talk like this. But I really think when you look back at this 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it's going to just continue to stand the test of time more and more. Like when you look back, we're talking about it in real time and it's kind of blowing our mind. But when they really look at this decade and what happened with country music and they're just like, yeah, and Post Malone dropped one of the biggest albums of the year that year. And Beyonce had.
It was a great album.
For sure. Was great, 100%. And Beyonce got in the genre and just
the biggest
added
by the way, the biggest song of the year is a country song, bar song. Yeah,
yeah. Well, two years in a row now.
Yeah,
last night was last year.
Right, yeah.
The second biggest song of this year was a Morgan Wallen song. Again.
Crazy.
2 years in a row.
That's crazy.
Speaking of the bar song, boy, shameless plug here.
Shabuzi's coming on tour.
Shabuzi is on tour with Jelly Roll. I love you, Shabuzi. Thank you, Booze Man, for picking my tour.
No, that's special. You're gonna have the -- album and the #1 song on tour together.
Listen, man, dude, it's like. Booze, man, he could have kind of like Warren on this tour. They could have. These are two guys that are white hot right now, especially Booze. I mean, Booze is fish grease hot.
I think 18 weeks #1. It's crazy.
It just broke the record for the long. You know what I mean? Like, just took a lot of Lil Nas X record. I mean, it's
crazy.
It's unreal. And he could have did a headliner. He could have went out with anybody. He was like, "No, I'm into that Jelly Roll tour." It's just awesome, man. Just who Shabuzi is, though, man.
I saw you reach out to Glorilla on Twitter.
I love Glow.
You guys dropped the same day. She's got a great body of workout, Glorious.
Yes.
A lot of people.
That's her government name, right?
I believe.
I think I'm serious. I think her
Gloria, I think, or something like that.
No, I think her government name is Glorious.
That's amazing.
Hold on, the Gooch is looking it up. I bet I'm right.
I bet
I'm from Tennessee.
That sounds about right.
Name is Gloria Hallelujah.
Oh, you was right. It's Hallelujah. That's the part I always
Gloria
forget.
Hallelujah.
I thought it was Glorious,
name.
but it's because of Gloria Hallelujah.
That's
man,
a fucking name right
What
there.
a name. I love Glow, man. I'm such a fan of Glow. I got to meet her at the
was it the
iHeartRadio Awards.
Yeah.
I got to meet her at the iHeartRadio Awards.
Yeah,
and me and my wife had already posted TikToks to the song. We're huge fans. I love Memphis music. Growing up, 3 6 Mafia and them being involved in me so early, and my love of Little White and living in Memphis for a few years, it's like I'm always watching what's happening in Memphis because you can count on a couple artists a year being in the top 10 biggest artists in hip hop every year being Memphis.
Yeah, you're synonymous with Memphis forever, man. You know?
I'm proud of that too, man, because I love Memphis, and Glorilla's just awesome, dude. And me and you talked about this off camera, but I think we should give her flowers like this on camera. You feel a radiation of gratitude coming off of her that is rare in the music business.
100%.
Like this real, genuine, like every step forward for her is a win, and she is just in the most graceful place. You can almost tell she's to the point now where even the bullshit don't get to her no more. She don't get wrapped up in none of that. She is just complete. She is floating. And you can feel that when you're around her. You know what I mean? It's like she just gives off this genuine gratitude, and the music's fucking incredible.
No, I just thought.
So here's the story. I should. Man, I'll tell you the story. Me and Glow, when we met, we immediately people in her management camp, my relationship with Memphis for all these years, we all kind of know each other. It's
Right.
2 degrees of separation or whatever that is. Anyways, somebody hit me and be like, yo, I'm such and such. You remember me back then?
Right.
I'm working with Glow. I want to get y'all together, put us in a text thread. And every time either one of us have been in LA, we've hit the other one and missed each other by like a couple days. So we were trying to do something anyways. It was like, if I look at our text thread right now, it's a constant like, I'm in LA, where you at when you here? And it's like a day later, she'll be like, I'll be there Friday. And I'm like, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Or it's like her being like, yo, I'm in LA, where you at? Swing by. You know what I mean? So it's like I know we like each other and we want to work together. And she knows I'm a huge fan, and it's been really cool, man.
Yeah,
I love that she was like, we got to do this for Tennessee. It made my heart smile.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. The whole Memphis thing is just crazy, you know. Rest in peace, Dolph. You know, that whole case, some of the details of that's getting interesting. It's like for you, like you're such a fan of just everything. Like, you know, I kind of look at you as like a.
Well, let's talk about the Dolph trial for 2 seconds. I know you don't want me to get hung up here because you're my friend and don't want me to get in trouble. But all I want to say about the Dolph trial is I was blown away that the Dolph trial opened and closed, opened on a Monday, closed on a Friday, and had a deliberated jury return a verdict
that quick.
back in 5 days.
Oh, it was fast.
And we have been watching Jeffrey
Young Thug,
sit down in the DeKalb County Jail for years.
Yeah.
It is, man, I don't like to get in the middle of stuff, and some of the stuff that he was accused of is extremely heinous, and if it's true, he should be held accountable like any other criminal. But, man, it just seems like one of the greatest injustices I've ever seen happening down there, man. And it's getting to the point, man, Kev, I would tell you something, Kev. I don't talk about this much, Bubba, but something I'm into. When I'm writing music, I don't listen to music.
Yeah.
So I listen to like podcasts, and it's somewhere between comedy and true crime. And my preference of keeping up with true crime isn't like the eerie stuff. I like watch Law and Crime with Jesse on YouTube. Are you familiar with this channel?
Yeah.
I'll watch Bruce Rivers.
Okay.
I'll watch like I got a few of these different kind of lawyer things that I'll watch. These kind of lawyer things that I'll go. And then if I'm really interested in what Jesse Weber's talking about, I'll just go watch that day of the trial. I get that nerded out about like active trials when they're happening. I think it's because my mama used to watch them. She obsessed about them. We were kids. I've never talked about this in my
TV was
life.
a thing.
Yeah, I've never talked about this in my
What
life.
do you think? Well, what do you think about the Thug thing? Because it feels to me as if it's going to get thrown out. At least it and then I
think they're just, if it doesn't get thrown out and it actually goes in there, they'll either find him guilty or the jury will hang. But the problem becomes, I think that he's going to end up getting out of the case, and I think he's going to have the biggest class action lawsuit against DeKalb County in American history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's 120-some people on that case. I think the DA overshot. I think that I don't know what she was thinking. I think she made
Fannie Willis, right?
She made a mountain out of a molehill, and there was some really, really, really bad stuff that happened. There were bodies involved. There was murders, murder for hire plots. I mean, it had all the makings of what looked like it should be a big thing. Hey, Mama. Hey, Chachi, Bubby.
We have 3 dogs.
Can somebody take him out? Chachi.
Yeah, Chum, will you take him out, Chum?
What a fucking
Yeah. And what about Scary got mad today because
Just to get that fucking
Scary was
dog
like,
out
why
of
am
here.
I not going to LA? I was like, because you got to watch the dogs. Yeah. Like,
You did bring a dog.
I was like, you brought a dog. So you got to stay back with your dog. The meet and greet seemed to go quick. Huh?
15 minutes?
Yeah, 15, 20. It felt great. Kiss. Look, camera kiss.
Shots to the bunny. A pod swap is coming soon.
The cock swap.
The pod swap.
Oh.
The pod swap.
I love that my wife immediately made it a sexual
She said
thing.
cock swap.
She said, are we cock swapping?
I was like, what is happening?
What does that
He
mean?
signed me up without my permission.
What? Oh man.
Love you, sexy woman.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's interesting too because like, do you ever get into these? I find myself sometimes watching them, but it's a little different because I know like a lot of these guys, so I try not to. But like the hood documentaries that they be putting out, where they like they'll tackle like the Jacksonville hip hop scene or
how accurate you think some of that stuff is. Who in that scene do you think actually takes their time and gets their information?
That's
right?
the problem. I just had this conversation.
I will tell you who gets the paperwork right is
1090 JK for sure.
Jake gets the paperwork right.
100%. But those hood
love him or hate
documentaries,
him, I have a lot of respect for him because he takes the time to get it right.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've ever heard him be wrong, and he feels like the kind of guy that would have the humility to be like, this wasn't.
No, I think he'd jump on the grenade if he was really wrong. He strikes me as the kind of guy that would immediately be like, I'm wrong.
Those documentaries.
What do you think about Trap Lore? You think he's?
Oh no, man. My whole thing is,
you're in a tight spot here. You can't say you think.
No.
Right.
I think that when you're. I just had this conversation.
I prayed we'd talk about cool stuff like this.
Think about this. Like, we're creating a culture of hip-hop fans who don't look at hip-hop artists as people. They look at them as criminal interests on their favorite YouTube channel.
Overall, what they're doing is not good.
They're not even into the music.
Yeah,
like, let's be honest, right? Like,
it's
a lot
into
of these
the stories,
guys,
not the music.
Yeah, so it's like when someone like Fulio, gets murdered, going and looking at the comments on some of these posts are like, it's like there's just no humanity. Like with some of these fans, they just don't give a fuck. And so with Trap Lore Ross, like, I know he made like a 3.5 hour long King Von, hip hop's first serial killer video. I mean, I just, if you can't prove that, that's a pretty crazy thing to put on someone who's dead.
Right.
You know, so I don't know, man. I think that a lot of that stuff is entertaining. Like, I think Trap Lore Ross does a good job of putting together entertaining content. Now,
but my wonder becomes I think about it as journalism, is that who is actually doing the research to get it right, and it makes you wonder. And I don't know. I've watched some of Trap Lore Ross's stuff.
No, he's got entertaining stuff for sure. Yo, want to give a shout out to our sponsors at Odd Socks, baby, the most comfortable socks in the entire world. They got the Corona. They got the Office, man. They also just got the Tapatio, Street Fighter, plus the Odd Socks. Basics are my favorite socks I've ever put on my feet. They're on my feet right now. I can show you. Look at this. It's an Odd Socks Basic right there. Bam! You see that, X? Anyway, listen. You got to go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use that promo code BOOTLEG. Save 20% off. Holidays are creeping up on us. Time to get some gifts. You could also do the underwear. Yeah, let's check these out. Little XL boys right here. All right. If you're into Naruto, if you're not into Naruto, that's not your thing. What are these? Ooh. Okay. Little Ghostbusters. Come on, man. Shout out to Odd Socks, oddsocksofficial.com. Promo code BOOTLEG. That's our family. We also want to say prayers and thoughts with them because they are located in the Tampa area. And we just want to say we love our dogs out there at Odd Socks. And please support oddsocksofficial.com. Also want to give a shout out. We got to talk about my bookie, all right? Football season is here. I've had one hell of a run so far when it comes to football season. Not only is it football season, but it's also baseball playoffs and NBA season is creeping. Preseason action's already in full effect. Get in it on all the action. Go to MyBookie right now, mybookie.ag. Sign up for a new account using the promo code BOOTLEG. When you sign up, you're going to get a first deposit bonus. Yes. It could be $200. It could be $1,000. Look, sign up, get that first deposit bonus. What I love about MyBookie that they just started, you can do a bunch of dope different parlays. Like, let's say you want to do a touchdown score. You could do like a bunch of touchdown scores on the same ticket. And what I love, I just did this actually. This past weekend, I had 3 out of 4 of my legs hit on a parlay. And the fourth leg was looking good, but not sure. So I cashed out early and I was able to still make my money, win my ticket. It's amazing. Plus they got the live casino. You could play, I was just playing roulette. You could play blackjack with a live dealer on cam. It's amazing. MyBookie.ag. Get in on the action. When you sign up with that account, use the promo code BOOTLEG. And guess what? If you do sign up with a new MyBookie account and you use the promo code BOOTLEG, if you DM me on Instagram, I'm going to send you some Bootleg Kev Odd Socks and a little gift pack from all of our sponsors. All right, so go do that. Let's get back to the interview right now.
It sucks, man, because I'm such a hip-hop fan to watch that part of hip-hop. You know, you got to think, in our era when Tupac got killed, there wasn't a bigger news story in the world. When Jam Master Jay got
and we couldn't
killed,
go on YouTube and watch. I mean, if Tupac died today, there'd be so much content to digest about it.
For sure.
It probably his murder probably would have gotten solved.
100%. No, they would have filmed it all the way to where it would have happened. They would have been able to track back every video taken of that Benz coming down the strip or people waving at each other. All that stuff would have been able to happen in those moments.
Talk to me, man. We haven't really talked about this. I've heard you talk about it, but I know how much of a big deal it is to even have like someone like Eminem acknowledge who the fuck you are.
Dude.
But to have Eminem sample your song and to be able to perform with him, to be able to you've been performing Lose Yourself on stage.
Yeah, for years.
And can you like I said, I know you've talked about it a lot, but I just feel like it's such a I just know how big of a deal that was for you, man. So, it's like it's getting weird.
It's getting weird, dude. No, dude, Marshall's he's the GOAT. Anybody who says Eminem's not the greatest rapper ever is just lying. They're just they're allowing other factors to get involved.
If we're talking about the talent of rapping,
yes. I would argue to say that I don't know. There's a lot of we'll never see nobody better.
Yeah.
I think there will be. I don't think that I'll live long enough to see it.
Yeah, I think
what I mean?
I think lyrically, I think I always say we're in the middle of this era of Kendrick Lamar, and it's almost like watching Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, we just kind of take advantage of Steph Curry and LeBron's on TV. But like we lived through the Eminem thing, and we're still here, so we knew what it was like. Right. But I think during that era, we didn't look at Eminem as the greatest of all time. We just loved Eminem.
100%. I don't know the Kendrick moment. I don't know. Kendrick's got a unique thing that's happening right now that's very Eminem-ish as far as that dude's been putting out hits a long time now.
For sure, it's been 10 years. 2012 is when Good Kid, Mad City came out.
He's a decade into putting out real, absolute, solidified bangers.
Bodies of work.
Eminem had a decade like that. I think that his follow-up to Not Like Us will be one of the most important bodies of work. Whatever he does next will be super, super important. But he also takes a lot of time off, right? He has big drops and big 100%. Big
takes time. Yeah. What is that like first initial? Is it a text? Is it a call where you find out that a Save Me remix is on the Eminem album? Dude, essentially,
it's Paul Rosenberg. It's Paul Rosenberg, man. Paul Rosenberg is the dude.
Yeah.
So that's M's longtime manager. Anybody watching that doesn't know, absolute legend. Been with him day one. Built the entire business around it. Just he'll go down as one of the greatest to ever do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And him and my manager John Manili have been friends since they did Renegade together. Back when John was.
Yeah, John was with Jay-Z back in the day. Yeah.
So they've been friends for all this time. I didn't know I was on M's even radar. I just assumed, that if I had a chance to be on his radar, it would have been a decade ago whenever I was the 10-minute freestyle, might have caught it, But apparently he dug the record. And when they initially called, they just said send it with no context. And for this fucking Eminem, I don't need any context. You tell me Eminem wants something, send the
stem, send the
stem, send the
whatever he needs.
You send the vocals we didn't use.
Yeah.
If he wants to go recomp, you know what I mean? Like send him everything. And you know how rap is. I thought he was going to send me a verse and I was just going to have a remix in my phone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
I like this. Let me
slide on it, man. I just kind of I'm the rub. I'm gonna give you the rub. I'm just gonna throw you one. Him, Drake, they've kind of waned. I've watched these guys do it over the years, just like randomly just throw somebody one. And I was like, I might be finna get one. And it turned out even cooler than getting one. It turned out that it ended up being for his album. Now I didn't hear much about it for like a year or 8 months or whatever. I mean, it was a long period of time.
So it was a process.
I'm not good at judging time right now because I think I started this tour 8 months ago and it was 6 weeks ago.
Right.
I don't know. I'm lost. But it was definitely enough time that I had gotten sad. That's the best way to put it. It was long enough that I had come to the conclusion it wasn't going to happen. And then John calls me. He's like, M's going to put this on his record. Like, for sure. Because when I seen Houdini drop, I was like, maybe. I was like, he might be, this could be real.
Right.
Because my fear was he just didn't drop it all. But I had a feeling that it was going to happen, and it did, man. Doing the video with him, He's been nothing but kind, man.
Yeah.
Nothing but kind.
Yo.
Funny, genuine, all that stuff.
How hard is it for you with your come up? I always wonder this because I know that we are in a very finicky industry, and you've been a part of this industry long before you were a household name. But to have the success you've had over the last couple of years, and to probably have new interactions with people that maybe didn't reply to DMs or big timed you, and does that, do you remember all? And I don't think you're a petty guy, but is that like, do you ever like, but I also know you don't forget.
Yeah, for
so
sure. No,
like, does that happen a lot for you?
No, I remember like the couple of like booking agents that really passed on me. That like genuinely just like took the meeting and you just never heard back from, and then somebody else comes and says they passed.
Right.
Those you kind of don't forget because, you know, you're so desperate that those meetings mean everything.
Right.
But I also didn't hold much of a grudge though, because I guess that's how I still look at stuff, Kev, is that even then I would go into those rooms like, I don't care how this meeting goes. The fact that I was invited here lets me know that it was like, to me, an arrow. There's this old-fashioned phrase that the arrows are always pointing us in the right direction. You know, you just got to look for them.
Yeah.
It's like, these were arrows for me. You know what I mean? So anytime I got big shotted, the fact that I was close enough to something to get big shotted was like, I'm cooking.
Yeah.
I'm cooking. I thought about me and Paul, talking about Paul Rosenberg. I met Paul Rosenberg when Yellow Wolf was getting ready to put out Love Story.
Okay, so this is like 2014, 15. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's probably right around a decade ago, and it's way before, probably a year, 7-8 months before the album came out. He was playing some of the music for like a private Grammy pre-listening party for Interscope.
Okay.
And Paul was there. And I got blackout drunk on Whistle Pig. Never forget it. And, you know, I met Paul then. But I'm Yella's +1, right?
Yeah.
And even then, in those moments, I was like, man, I'm on the right path.
Right.
Like, if this dude likes me enough to invite me to this party and then introduce me to this dude, like, this is more arrows pointing the right way, you know?
I feel like Love Story was so ahead of its time that if that album came out in 2024, it's got a couple '1 records on it.
Dude, it is... It still had a couple of really big records.
No, of course. I mean, I think Till It's Gone is platinum or gold. I think it was American You on there.
I think that was a really weird time for. Dude, it had the Eminem record on there. My best friend.
Yeah,
dude, it had,
Blood in My Veins. That one and the one about his baby mama.
Yeah, dude. Was Empty Bottles on that record, or was it the next
Empty Bottles was on that record.
Yeah, he had so many hits on there. It's so many big records. I think that it fell in a weird time. It was somewhere between the tail end of streaming wasn't what streaming is yet, and the old school way was dying off. It was all but dead.
It was a weird limbo.
It was a super weird time to be putting out. Because remember, Till It's Gone got picked up by the last scene of Sons of Anarchy, which made that such a big moment.
I remember that. Yeah.
I remember sitting at the house watching and going, this dude's fixing to have the biggest moment ever. I could feel it right then.
For sure.
And you felt it in Nashville, though, dude. Him and Clever, his DJ, were running around town on Harleys, long hair. It was just such a different feeling that was happening around what he was doing in that moment. But I think it was just a very weird time to be putting out work. It's like buying houses or selling them right now.
Yo, you are we kind of went over some of these numbers last night. The amount of physical copies you're actually selling, the true album sales, which to me means way more than streams, right? Streams can be manipulated. Streams can be background music. People could throw something on while they're at the barbershop. Shit just plays. If it isn't 100,000, it's close to 100,000 actual physical copies of this album were bought, which is insane. It's almost unheard of. I feel like maybe Nicki still does that, but at least in the genre that I'm familiar with, it's pretty damn near unheard of. You've grown this like fan base through obviously being unapologetically yourself, but speaking for so many people who don't have a voice. But I also feel like you have this other side of your fan base that they just love you.
Right.
They're not even like the music's cool,
right?
But they saw you on a podcast,
right?
They saw you they just love you. They saw you on going and speaking to Congress. Just explain to me that connection with the fans that is, it's an anomaly in music right now to have 100,000 physical copies moved in 7 days. That's fucking insane.
No, it's great, man. It's a support in a way that I couldn't ever dreamed I'd have felt. It's like overwhelming, honestly. It's I don't know, man. It's crazy. Just having, to me and you talked about it too, and we talked about it off camera, but I'll say it on camera too. Is that the grass is greener for me in that scenario where it's like the streaming side though is such a big consumption side in the new world, because I guess I'm still nervous. I hope that the CDs are translating to people caring about the music, because we've watched the street hustlers. I know dudes that have sold tens of thousands of CDs that couldn't sell 7 tickets. Mm-hmm. So the real measure to me of an artist's success truly is if people will show up to the building to see you on a
right
Tuesday
out here,
night.
4 feet away from the stage.
That's it. It's like, to me, that's the telltale of
you
that.
sold out how many people in Wichita, Kansas on a Tuesday night?
Yeah, for sure. 14,000.
Insane.
Cool. Great show. We're going to do it again tonight in Springfield, baby. It's going to be a ball down here in Springfield.
That is
Missouri.
the real barometer, though. It's like, the people, will they come?
Yeah. Is that, can you build the tour around it? And, that's what, to me, whenever I look. And normally the top 2 or 3 albums can normally tell that. Rod Wave is a huge touring act. Charlie's a huge touring act. You know what I mean? It's but that's where the rubber really meets the road, is if you can get somebody to buy a ticket. Because listen, man, I tell people, man, that's not a ticket stub. That's a soul. Mm-hmm. That's a story.
And that's,
you get 13,000 stories.
That's a babysitter.
That's a babysitter. That's gas money. That's
signing
dinner.
Up for a rough
that's
day
an
at work
outfit.
tomorrow. Whatever
that's a rough day at work. I took a day off and drove in. You know what I mean? That's all big stuff. So it's like, to me, that's the real tale.
You've had so many interesting live moments in terms of just your career. Obviously, many gatherings of the Juggalos, opening up for Insane Clown Posse, being in a van with Highlight, running around this country. What, because how many tickets total will this tour move by the end? It's
700,000.
700,000. That's fucking crazy to hear out loud. That's wild. What was like for you?
It's crazy, dog.
Talk to me about the other side of your touring career, where you were in the van, and I think you guys are trying to track down the van Bertha.
We're
right?
trying to find that old van right now. We sicked our guy on it.
But like for you, like to have seen it on all ends of the spectrum, like take me back. And you kind of shared a story about like a rough live show you had. What was like kind of your valley of being on the road as an independent artist, trying to make it before people gave a fuck?
I told a story about whenever we played the Boardwalk in Sacramento, when there was like 7 people or something that showed up. But the one I told you that was just as funny was we played I believe it's called the Electric Factory.
Philly, right?
In Philly, right? And I'm opening up for ICP, and I'm one of 4. So what one of 4 means is there's 4 acts. ICP is the 4th act. I'm the first act, which means I go first of all the 4. 2 is Mad Child. 3 is the Mafia 6.
Okay.
Which is 3-6 Mafia.
Their side group, yeah.
Their side group, short of Juicy. And so I'm one of 4 in Philly at the Electric Factory. And every night what I would do is, because there was like a changeover time between acts, 15 or 20 minutes, I would say the last song I would go, hey, y'all, I got inside information here, such as Mad Child's not coming on stage for 20 minutes. So for the next 20 minutes until his song starts, I want to be back at the merch booth, signing stuff, taking pictures, smoking joints, whatever y'all want to do, just come hang. It's early, right? And I come off stage, and I'm like trying to get through the crowd to the thing. And normally I have to put my hood up and kind of get there, and I'll take a picture or 2 on the way. And man, I'm looking people straight in the eye, and nothing. I'm walking right by people. I just performed for this whole crowd.
Yeah.
And I go to my merch booth, Bub, and not a soul is in there, Kev. Not a soul. Listen, and it's so packed that people are standing like they have looked. My front of my merch booth had become a common area where like people would come together and exchange cigarettes or like put stuff in a bag.
They didn't give a fuck that you were sitting there.
Yeah, nobody. And I'm standing there like, like my little stuff behind me. You know what I'm saying? I'm selling my little T-shirts. It's like nothing. It was so bad. I watched ICP from front of house, but not like front of house. I meant like front of house, like, I just went out there.
Yeah.
I just stood next to a guy. You know what I'm saying? That looked annoyed that I was taking up space and just watched the whole show. Those stick with you too, because those are the nights you get in the car and really be like, maybe I'm tripping. Because you're looking for the arrows, and that's a night where you don't get one.
You don't get
You're like,
one,
you get, in fact, arrows go the other way. Net negatives. Another net negative.
That's funny. Yo, I wanted to, you and, whether you, I don't know if you know this, but, your daughter and my son have something in common. They're both, as I heard you describe it on a podcast, victims of drug addiction. Because my son's mom, her whole life was just, it was like a battle to keep her sober. She left him when he was like 2 for like a year. And then at the age of 10, I decided to pull the plug on trying to keep the bullshit together. He hasn't seen him. She hasn't seen him. He's 19. She hasn't seen him since he was 10.
Wow.
But, my wife comes into his life when he's 11 and, is mom now. Yeah. But I wanted to talk to you, like, how do you deal with, and I'm kind of asking for advice here because my son's 19, he's a great kid, just graduated high school, he's going to college. But I feel like sometimes I see him wearing that unresolved mom shit.
Yeah. Well, he is. There's no way he's not. Even the toughest, smartest kids that are the most grounded and understanding, when you go through something like that, you can't help but wonder what's going on. And you also got to keep in mind that no matter how smart he is, that brain's still developing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? He's still, even though he's 19, he can buy a cigarette now. It's not, to me, he's not no adult. I wasn't an adult at 18.
Oh, no. I had him when I was 18.
Yeah, Jesus. So you know that feeling. So it's like, I don't know, man. I would encourage you to encourage him, or I'll encourage him, to reach out and seek real help about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There is a book called Children of Drug Addict Parents or something like that. Children of Alcoholic Parents. I'm just not, whatever. But I normally would have that book on the top of my head. But I've read it before. It's a great book. It helped me a lot. Just like getting in tune with that and understanding, and for one, him just acknowledging it.
Yeah,
that'll be a good step for him, just to kind of be like, yeah, man, it does bother me a little bit.
Right.
That
Do you have to deal with that with Bailey at all? Sometimes where you got to kind of like, because you kind of had to get your shit. You were forced to get your shit together.
100%, man.
For her,
and I still have the moments with B where I can tell it's weighing on her, and we still allow her to talk, and and I allow her to have space to feel however she feels about her mother. That's a big one, because sometimes she's like, yo, I kind of want to talk to her and I want to figure this out. And I'm like, cool. And then sometimes she's like, I never want to talk to that woman again. And I'm like, I respect that decision too.
Yeah.
But either decision you make, I think it's important that you continue to get help about it. So, she goes, and Bailey's been in therapy for a couple of years about it.
Right. Well, that's important. The therapy part, yeah.
Well, it just will help him to understand why he thinks the way he thinks about things. And I would hate for it to affect his relationships later in life by not getting ahead of it now.
Yeah, and it's like having, like the way you had Bunny, the way I have my wife, it's like, man, I don't know where I don't know if I was able to even handle like the level of like fatherhood that came with trying to make it while also keeping this kid
right
on the right tracks, you know what I'm saying? So
deep. No, that's deep. Thanks for sharing that. I'll get the name of that book though, man. That book is it's incredible, man. I remember when I first looked at it, I was like, this doesn't look like children of adult alcoholics or something like that. Adult children of alcoholics is it, or something like that.
You're on this health kick right now. How many? I think I heard you say you lost about 60 pounds.
No, I'm at 100.
100 pounds. Well, congratulations.
I'm at a legit 100. I'm at a legit 100 from my kind of a little bit more than 100 from what my biggest was. I'm down 80 or 90 this year.
It's amazing. I remember the last time, because I remember what's about 2016, 17, you had lost a lot of weight.
Yep.
And
back this time I got to keep it off.
Well, it's crazy because I was talking with Big X the Plug about this, because I was like, hey man, like you're like Big X the Plug, but like we also want you to be here.
Right.
Do you worry about like your image of what the public knows you as being wrapped into being like a heavier guy?
Man, I'm going to lose the weight and I'm going to break the curse.
Yeah, because
there is a quote unquote
like
actor curse of actors who lost weight that couldn't find work. But there's also actors that lost weight and found more work.
100%.
You know what I mean? But if that is a quote unquote curse, I'm going to break it.
Yeah.
Me and my wife actually talked about this real deep one night recently, because she knows whenever I get the eye of the tiger in me. She's seen it before. Now we've been together long enough that she's like, oh, I know my husband. He's not going to stop till his weight's off. Like, when he really dials in, this dude's fixing to completely shed this. And she was like, well, do you have a plan sustainable to keep it off? She's just being a good woman, you know what I mean? Just having real conversations with me. And she goes, are you worried about any criticism? And I was like, a little bit. I was like, I know how this works. Like, they're going to, even though I'm losing the weight in front of everybody, there's still going to be some people like, well, of course you took the shot. No, I never took a shot.
Yeah, there's no Ozempic here.
Yeah, it's like they're not that I'm against Ozempic. My doctor thinks it's great. I'm just personally not. I'm afraid of stuff like that. I just don't. I did drugs for so long. I like putting weird shit in my body no more.
Fair enough.
Fair. But it's I'm not saying I won't do it. But I can still see her. I can imagine that I'm about another 70, 80 pounds. I got another goal to lose a lot more weight. And there'll come a point where they'll start saying I look sick. And I'm cool with it. Me and her talked about it, and she was so honest. She was like, good. I just wanted to make sure it didn't hurt your feelings. I was like, no, I'm not. The difference is I think a lot of people make the mistake of going and hiding and getting healthy and then coming out healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like.
And instead of doing it in front of everybody so they see that.
Yeah, like watch the daily rolls, dude. I put them on my Instagram every day. It's like just what we're doing in life. And I'm not going to be one of them weird people that loses a bunch of weight and it becomes my identity neither.
Right.
Like, I feel better. I'm not going to talk about it because it's going to always be the elephant in the room. But it's like, I feel better. I'm thinking clearer. And it's one part of what I do every day is I now eat better. I fight my food addiction demon and I work out. But it still makes very little of who I am as a human.
Yeah.
It's only making who I am as a human better.
Yeah.
I'm only becoming a better human as I'm getting healthier.
What, for you, like, talk about just like, because, for anybody who's friends with you, you've always had a recreational relationship with certain substances.
Yep.
But for you, like, just being around you the last like 6-7 months, I've noticed like you've calmed down a lot when it comes to. I mean, obviously we'll drink sometimes.
Yep.
But was there like a breaking point for you where you were like, yo, I got to kind of kick back a little?
I could not drink the way I was drinking and keep up with this schedule.
Yeah, because dude, you're the tequila god.
I drink. I don't drink a lot, but when I drink a lot.
Yeah,
for sure. I am legend with people. It is crazy. But yeah, I just couldn't drink. I'm so like. I started implementing little like adult 40-year-old rules now that are like I don't drink unless I have a full day off the next day, just in case because the way I like to drink. And I haven't had a full day off. Really. Backed up to a night that it made sense to drink in a long time.
Right, like a celebratory night or something.
Yeah, it's like we were thinking about it. Like the iHeartRadio Awards was like one of those magical nights where we won an award. We're celebrating and had nothing to do the next day. It was like score.
Yeah, we got blacked out that night.
Bubba, for sure. Yeah. Because when I like.
Wasn't that the night you fell in the pond?
Yeah, that's the night I fell in the pond of the hotel. Splashed around. No, it's like, dude, those are if I'm going to go out and party, I party that way. And the next day it involves real recovery for me. Like, I got to drink certain water, eat food, get in a sauna, get an IV.
Yeah.
I'm old. I just don't have it no more. So it's like, I don't know. I'm more in love with the pace of the work I'm doing right now. We're working at a way different pace, man.
Yeah, it's crazy too, man, just to see the production. Like, how many people are employed on this tour?
150-something.
That's insane.
22 trucks, 16 buses.
Bro, like...
It's crazy. Huge production.
That's so crazy.
So fun, though.
Like, so many people's livelihoods are in this building and connected to you going on that stage and doing your album
night,
doing
your
songs.
That's not counting the 100-plus locals every night. Another 100 vendors.
Right.
You know what I mean? So...
That shit's crazy. Yeah. I'm curious. I know
it's really cool.
You got your bar coming.
Yes.
In Nashville, which is I can't wait to like. How far along is that process?
Oh, it's there, dude. They went the other day. It's framed out. It's ready. We should be open top of the year sometime early.
So you already got the lease together and all that.
Oh no, lease. I mean, dude, this building has been getting rebuilt for the last 8 months.
Oh wow, from scratch.
Oh yeah, this has been a. They kept the frame of the building because it was an old concrete built in the 1920s concrete style. But then they just framed wood inside of it. But yeah, no, completely remodeled the whole thing. No, really did it the right way.
Yo, this Skylar
and this company we're with is like really, really good at what they do.
I would say, are you?
You know them from Phoenix. You know who I'm working with, right?
Who?
The Bottle Blonde.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
They got a great place.
They got a bunch
Scottsdale.
of great spots. Yeah, for sure.
They got a place
That's what I'm working with.
Oh, that's going to be crazy. And they're going to be
They're
able to
great
probably
guys,
put them
man.
things everywhere.
Yeah, God willing. You know what I mean? Hey, holler. I'd love to expand. I love it, man. Let me tell you, I want to touch this for a second. I said it and kind of glossed over it on Joe, but I'm the first. Of course, Steve and his son BT own most of Broadway, and they're locals. They're real Nashville people, like for real.
Yeah.
Steve Smith and BT. But as an artist, I'm the first real Nashville guy to get a bar. It's a big deal, man. It's like, I don't know. I don't feel entitled to very much.
On Broadway, right?
Yeah. I don't feel entitled to very much, but like being a local, it's like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at
As
this
a local,
point,
that was my only complaint when I didn't think I'd ever be in the runnings for one. I'd be like, God, let Chris Young get one, or Cadillac 3, or Ernest. Like, let a local get one.
I mean, you've done the Opry, you've got a bar on Broadway. I think the next thing is owning a piece of the Titans.
I would love to own. Hey, Miss Amy, me and Miss Amy are friends.
Even a half
I got
a
to hang
point.
out with her the other day. Just give me a little skin in the game, Amy. I'll give you some money, and I'll stay out of the business completely, Miss Amy. I just love to. You know what's crazy? I talk about that. I mean, the only way it happened is if she'd ever let me buy into the team, and I would take whatever she'd give me.
Yeah,
But
of course.
I would have never dreamed of that, man. But Eric Church is kind of a mentor to me, and Eric Church owns a piece of the Charlotte Hornets.
Wow.
Like a real piece.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Eric
it's a
Church.
true story. And I heard Kenny Chesney is trying to work out a deal with his dream, I think, has been to always work out with Mr. Kraft something for the Patriots because he's a lifelong Patriots fan.
I mean,
So-
that'd be crazy. Yeah, shit, Tom Brady just bought a piece of the fucking Raiders.
That's what I'm saying. Tom got him a little piece. Give me that little deal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
They got him a deal where he's not allowed in nothing. He's just got a little piece of the team, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yo, I know there was a lot of
Big
features.
dream. Big dream.
I was gonna say I know there was a lot of features that almost happened for the album. Is there anybody who you weren't able to? Because you have some great features on this album: Halsey, Russ, shit. I'm forgetting Skylar Grey.
Ernest.
Anybody?
MGK.
Yeah. Anybody who you're like, yo,
Ilse.
I got this. Like, there's 2 or 3 of these motherfuckers I just got to do something with. It just didn't work out this time.
Oh, I mean, for me, just like my list of people I want to work with, or I still want to work with, like Miley, really bad. She's from Tennessee. Well, not from Tennessee. I like make her claim Tennessee. I don't know. She probably, but I know that they have Tennessee roots.
Right.
Of course, SZA. I think SZA's like everything about her, Lizzo, just what them as people and
No,
music.
SZA's amazing.
You know what I mean? Like
She's an
just-
alien.
She is so special.
Yeah.
She is such a gift from God, man. She is so grounded, and the music is so.
Hi guys.
Hey, how are you?
There's a special delivery.
Sorry,
from
we are on tour.
a nice young lady.
But and SZA's great also because of outside of the writing, the music, the rollouts are crazy, the labels. Man, her artistry is just different.
Right.
I love when people are putting in the work, and you can't watch SZA do anything live, whether it's an award show or an actual concert, without it just reeking of her putting tens or hundreds of hours into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not the craft itself. You can tell she spent tens of thousands there.
Yeah.
But I mean, individual, you see her on an award show like the Grammys, and you're like, dude, I bet she spent 100 hours working on this. You know what I mean?
for sure.
Like real hours standing here and working on the chorus.
Takes her time with her
choreograph.
music. I mean,
Takes her
shit. I think we
time.
waited 4 or 5 years for albums.
And she don't miss, man, because if you
Control
take
SOS.
that long to put out an album, you know this in our business. This is inside baseball right here, but there's an old joke that says, the longer you sit, the bigger the hit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, the longer you sit out, you better have that much bigger of a hit.
It better be ready.
You know what I mean? Like, when you do come back, Adele's the queen of that, by the way, coming when she wants, but never missing.
Speaking of Adele, apparently
Adele would be a dream scenario. The Weeknd would be my true buck. I think he's the greatest artist of this generation.
I agree.
Yeah,
I just
ever. He's not the number one artist in the world by default. I mean,
No,
the
he
dude's
makes my
incredible.
favorite music.
100%. He's my most listened to
great music to have
artist every
sex
year.
to. I mean, yeah, great. Shouts to the Weeknd. I just met him at the iHeart festival, and the fool was like a fan of my work.
Really?
He was like, "Yo, I just want you to know, like, like it seems like everything you do is like from a genuine good place. Like you feel like you got a good spirit.
If Abel said something like that to me, I'd
No,
faint.
it was crazy because and we just started talking about like we talked for like 20 minutes.
Get the fuck out.
It was
of here,
just
dog.
cool as fuck. And then he was like, yo, dude, you look like you're like talking.
If I could have a 30-minute conversation with anybody, it would be him or James Taylor.
Man.
Or Seeger.
Seeger.
Be one of them three. Seeger, Taylor, or Abel. It's yeah, that'd be a dream feature for me though, man. I'm a huge Weeknd fan.
How do you feel about these you mentioned Adele, these memes that are going around that you're the Adele for
Certified
for
forklift
drivers?
Look, man, dude. I'm just glad dude, can you believe I'm become a meme?
Yeah. No, I mean,
Did you know it? They got so many. Are they called GIFs or GIFs?
I think it's a GIF.
It's a hot button issue.
I think it's GIF.
All right, it's a GIF.
From the beginning, but no one calls it that.
All
It's a
right.
GIF.
So, yeah, they got GIFs of me now.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's really cool.
Yo, you're like I've said this to other people, but I'll say it to you. You are on your way to being, and I don't mean musically in any sense, because I think you have a lot. You're gonna be like the white Snoop Dogg,
I hope, dude.
and I mean that in the terms of like,
Oh my God, Snoop Dogg announced I'm on his album.
oh,
We can talk about this.
Snoop's
now.
on the album, or
No, I'm on
you're
Snoop's
on Snoop's album.
Yes, he announced it, so I think I'm allowed to talk about it. We'll have to cut this if
Wow.
I'm not. I'll
Okay.
check. But he announced it. It sounds like it should be fair game.
And the record's dope.
Dude, it is crazy. I won't say anything about the record because he didn't, but man, it's special.
Is
It
it-
is really good.
Him and Dre shit.
Yes, the him and Dre album, dog. I'm legitimately on the Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre album. It's crazy.
Who
It's
reaches out
unreal.
for that?
I mean,
Oh shit.
dude, Jimmy hits John and says, "Can we get on a FaceTime with Jelly Roll and Dre?" And I'm like, "Dr. Dre?" They're like, "Yeah." So listen, I get on a FaceTime on my back porch. I'm like a kid. Jimmy's there, and I'm already like, I cannot believe this is
Jimmy Iovine, yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, here goes Andre coming now. Or there goes Dre now." And you can see that the
Camera's wiggling.
a little bit, so you can tell he's walking
Yeah.
in the frame, and you could tell that they do that. You know that this is
Yeah,
they're
this is
still.
what they
You could
do.
tell they're still this
Right.
close. So it was just super cool. And he sits down, and they're just like, "Yo," and he's like, "I got this crazy idea," and I'm like, "Oh, dude, this is Dr. Dre." And then he's like, so it gets even cooler, and he's like, "I can send you something, or you can write something and send it back, or you can come here and we can write something." When he said that, I was like, there's no way he expected me to do any other option. I was like, if coming and writing with you's the option, I'm coming.
So you went
I went.
and you worked with Dre in person
I worked with Dre in person, dude. It was
at his
great.
house.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's how he worked. I mean, I heard that it's
We're gonna say at his studio, but yeah, it was
well,
crazy.
no, everyone knows it's at his
Okay, it's
yeah,
at his house.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's at his house.
Yeah, I heard those.
Everybody knows this.
I heard the speakers are crazy.
Listen, dog. Now that I've worked with Eminem and Dr. Dre, when you work with people that big, they're the only two people I'm scared to talk about.
Yeah.
Like when it's like, how did that go? But I mean, like being like, I don't know what I can and can't say.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're that famous and that legendary. But it was the most awesome session ever, dude. I walked in, Dre was just like biggest, most warm hug. I went by myself completely.
Yeah.
So I mean, I pull up solo, walk in solo, and then we go down to like the dungeon, and it's just a vibe. We're in there writing, immediately start just like no hesitation. We just start writing, and just immediately me and the people that were already working on the record immediately got it together. And you could just feel that, like, it was really fun because I felt like I earned their respect kind of early in the process. So I had a moment where I was like, all right, cool, I'm holding
Like you belong.
Yeah, it's like, because I know when you walk in those rooms, I'm still the kid that's coming to rap at the lunch table. Like,
sure.
I want to prove that I just deserve to be at the table. And I came in with that kind of attitude, man. It was really cool. We hung out, wrote, stayed there for a few hours. I mean, we chatted.
Is he
By
direct-
the way,
is
the
he-
Kendrick Lamar pop-out had just happened.
Okay.
So I'm getting, like, when I say just happened, I'm his first session after that.
Right.
So I'm getting all the
You're
good
getting all the
stuff.
back- yeah,
I'm
yeah.
getting all that energy.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, all these people are in the room together for the first time too.
Yeah.
So I'm getting all this energy. So it was special, man.
Is he directing? Because I heard he's like a perfectionist.
Dude.
So is he directing your
perfectionist-
takes?
Perfectionist. Let me tell you about Dre. This dude, he's Dr. Dre for a reason.
Yeah.
But one, he's incredible. He's a conductor of a symphony in there. And he hears everything, and he hears it 20 different ways. And he'll like put his ears up to these two speakers, and you'll start to sing, and he'll be like, a little sharp. You were flat on the word "the." You were a little sharp on the word "and." Like, he is man, it's like not a perfectionist in like a picky asshole way,
right?
And like a super encouraging, like, no, you got that in your baby just a little bit, like right here. Now hit it like this. Now give me one choice like this to work with. Like, he makes you feel like a rock star too. So you also get why he's good at this, because he's clearly correcting me and getting what he wants out of me, but doing it while like making me feel like I'm like Adele. I'm over here feeling like
for forklift drivers.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm over here feeling like fucking Frank Ocean.
Right, that's
amazing. Like I'm killing it. You know what I mean? So
Snoop was not around.
Snoop was not there.
Okay.
Saddest part of the whole story is that Snoop wasn't there. I don't think I could have took it though.
I just feel like
I couldn't have walked into Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre.
You're going to be Snoop famous in like 20 years. Where it doesn't matter what. Like you're going to have 5 TV shows. You're going to be hosting the Olympics.
I received that. I would be honored.
It's coming.
I would love it. Snoop is definitely a model, a career after kind of guy.
Hey, we're about to kick off another interview brought to you by Hardin. That's right. If you're in Vegas, it's the #1 dispensary in the country, the craziest selection of premium cannabis. And all you got to do is shoot them a follow, Hardin_Las Vegas, HardinLasVegas.com. When you're in Vegas, tell them I sent you. Hey, shout out to our family at Blue Chew. That's right. A lot of people keep asking me, does Blue Chew work? First of all, of course it does. But if you don't believe me, you can get a month free supply of Blue Chew right now. All you got to do is pay $5 shipping. Go to the website, bluechew.com. Use the promo code Bootleg, and you'll get a month supply for free. Now, what is Blue Chew, fellas? If maybe you're dealing with a little erectile dysfunction, it happens to everybody, all right? Or maybe you just need a little extra, a little extra pep in your step, all right? Blue Chew is the best. First of all, I've used it, and it is amazing. Just fucking massive. They give you an extra inch. At least it feels that way. All right, I can't make that claim officially, but it feels like an extra, at least a halfer. Nonetheless, same active ingredient as Viagra and Cialis, but of course in a chewable form, and there's no weird in-person doctor's visits. You do it all online. It's all done on the internet. It's delivered to your house in discreet packaging. Yeah, it's a vibe. Plus, they got the new mint chewables, which are amazing as well. Look, BlueChew.com. Get your dick right, fellas. Please. Your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever you're into. Well, thank you for it. All right. BlueChew.com, promo code Bootleg. Get a month supply for free. Let's get back to the interview.
Yo, give me like some of the inside baseball on, when we talk about the music industry, you've seen so many facets of it. You've been independent. You've done distro deals. You're with your label now, but you still own everything, right? It's like a partnership. Mm-hmm. What it for you would be, the like #1 thing you could point to that you were able to kind of do in the last 2 or 3 years that is like applicable for other artists who are watching this, whether it's like learning something new or changing an attitude towards everything or something on the business side, maybe bringing in the right people, maybe, because sometimes as an independent artist, you don't think you need as much help as you do, but now you have a team, like a real team, so.
Yeah, I could definitely say that the biggest difference was really getting with a label. Like, honestly, not because of the machine as much as people like, I used to be the guy too, like Rage, like the machine.
Right.
But more so just having an infrastructure of people who are working all day diligently towards what you're.
We all got the same goal.
We all got the same goal, is to try to get this music in front of as many people as possible. And it's been really, really, really cool. But I can also tell everybody this, man, that I truly believe that what makes music an art so special is that it can be done so many different ways. So do it the way that your heart is convicted to do it. Like, for me, my heart was convicted to try to get my message to critical mass. Like, I felt like what I was saying was so unspoken for in mass media and in critical mass, meaning like the masses, quote unquote, that I wanted to do whatever I could to try to get that message there, and that the percentage was worth doing that deal. And the stress that comes with it too, also the attention. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's a whole new work schedule. Like,
well, there's also like a whole new way you have to move, man.
Everything about my life is different.
Yeah.
Everything about my life is different. I'll be the first one to admit that. But it was a sacrifice that I wanted to make to try to get the message out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, man, you know, there's other artists that do it other ways. Me and you were talking about how much we love the way Rod Waves operates. Like, he just wakes up and he's like, you know what, the album's done, let's put it out.
Yeah.
And then he puts it out and goes and tours it, and then you don't hear from him again until Weekend's the same way.
Yeah.
Abel is we've talked about this privately a bunch, but I am such a fan of people that do it different than how I do it, because I'm like, most people, you know why? This good one. When everybody says comparison's the thief of joy, I used to always look at the way other people would do things, and if they did it different than me, I had a natural that was the wrong way to do it.
That you were doing it the wrong way, or they were doing it.
That somebody had to be wrong.
Okay, got it.
There's no way that both could be right.
Correct.
And now I've realized that there's like, I let go. That was all ego.
There's no rules.
Now I look like there's no rules, man. It's like whatever your conviction is to do it, whatever way you want to do it that actually works for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's the best news I ever heard from a trainer when I sat down with Ian, and we were talking about getting my weight together, and I was like, what kind of diet are we going on? He's like, the one that you'll eat. And I was like, huh? He was like, yeah, man. All that stuff is like, yeah, does keto work? For sure. But can you eat carbs and still lose weight? For sure. Can you do all this? It really comes down to what you will stick to, the moderation you're willing to eat at. If you want to eat nothing but shitty foods, we can really make that figure out. You're going to have to eat a lot less.
Yeah.
Because this is a calorie in, calorie out thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when he put that to me, it's like I feel that same way. I walk through life with that. I used to walk through life like this, Kev. Everything that I had, I held like this. And it served me none at all. It only worked against me, I learned. I walk through life like this. I don't hold none of that stuff like this no more. You know what I mean? I don't have none of those. I'm not hammered to one ideology. I'm open to listen to any interpretation anybody has of anything to see if I can gain anything from it at any moment. I'm not like that overly committed to anything at any point anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're on a record with Russ. There's a kid named Lil Russell. Have you heard of Lil Russell? Yeah, like Lil Russell's, he's doing this pay what you want live show thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've never seen anybody do that. It's working.
Dude, it's like, go do it the way that you want to do it, the way Russ has done it. I love watching people that do it their own way.
Yeah.
I chose to write songs about stuff that I grew up experiencing, and I chose to go out and beat the drum about it like this. You know, that's just the way I chose to go about it.
Yo, when you write some of these records, man, like, it feels like, you know, I think about like the record you got with Skylar that is going crazy on TikTok right now. After you get done recording that, like, do you wear that on you for a little bit? Like, that's a really, like, that's a crazy.
Oh,
like,
yeah. No, we have sessions, man. You know, if you don't, you're not writing the right song if you don't leave a piece of it there.
Yeah.
Of you there. You know what I mean? If there's not a part of you that it doesn't stir your soul, the songs that mean the most to me are the ones that sit in my phone and bother me that they're not out. Like, this was one of those songs. The Skylar record was like, the song with Keith Urban, believe it or not, was like, I just could not quit singing that, and don't mean I don't taste it and crave it in every corner of my mind.
Right.
Like, that line, for whatever reason, just stuck with me in such a way that I was like, if we don't put this song out, like, one of my favorite songs ever, look it up for me right quick, Gooch. I always blow the girl's name wrong.
Jamie.
She's got the 2 a.m. song. At 2 a.m. and I'm still awake writing this song. If I get it all down on paper, it's no longer inside of me.
2 a.m. song?
Yeah. It's called Just Breathe, 2 a.m., Just Breathe. Good. I can't wait to hear it.
Anna Nalick?
Yeah.
Anna Nalick?
Anna Nalick?
She has a line that goes, the end of the song goes, 2 a.m. and I'm still awake writing this song. If I get it all out on paper, it's no longer inside of me, threatening the life it belongs to.
Wow.
Arguably greatest lyric ever written in a song. I've been arguing this with people all the time and whatever. I mean, there's a lot of other lyrics, you know, I could, there's other, but like, as a songwriter, I don't think anybody's ever encapsulated how I feel in one sentence ever better than like, songs like Past Yesterday drive me crazy because I know that they belong to someone else and I have to get them out. They're not for me. I have a lot of songs that are for me that'll never make it, that have just wasn't either written well enough, or I just never wrote, or just they were for me. You know what I mean? But this song, when it's really not for you, those are those kind of songs, man.
Yo, because you have this, like, you know, when I was watching the Hulu documentary when it came out, there was a part where I don't know if it was a grandmother and a daughter. You were approached backstage, and I forget the exact interaction that ended up happening between you and these two fans, but it like brought tears to my eyes. It was like so crazy. But I can only imagine for you that's like every day, right? Like there's people out here with signs of, you know, maybe a kid that overdosed, or this is like.
If I remember that right, that story was a murder-suicide.
Yeah,
that little girl's mother.
It was something. It was just a lot.
But it was one of the hardest stories I've ever heard. I do hear that stuff a lot, man. I just feel honored that I can help people in such a moment. I'm very empathic, so I feel it. I definitely feel it.
But how do you turn off that? Because you also kind of like, you know, you have your own shit to worry about. So it's like, you know, you're having all these deep interactions with people. You see how even if it's online, like the TikTok response to your record is so crazy. Like,
I'm encouraged by it too, though, because I think that it's like creating conversations.
Yeah.
I love that whenever I spoke about fentanyl, that whenever I went to the Grammys 2 weeks later, everybody on the red carpet wanted to just tell me their story about a family member they had, you know?
Yeah.
It's like that kind of vulnerability. Because I think once we start letting people tell their stories, like, I don't know how many times you shared the story about your son on your podcast and his mother.
0. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, now there's somebody who's been watching you for years.
Right.
That's going to see that, and, like, it's going to impact them different.
Right.
Because they're going to be like, damn, man, him?
Yeah.
Damn, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to hit different with people. So, like, me creating that kind of vulnerability where people will have these kind of conversations is, man, I think it's what I'm actually really here for.
It's like your purpose.
I think that's truly what my purpose is. The music and me talking is just a vessel. The music is just a vessel to create these conversations with people that normally wouldn't be had. You know what I mean? Because now it's like you've brought a human element to it.
Sylvester Stallone, you said, was the first person that commented congrats on the album.
First person. First comment was
You're on Tulsa King season 2.
Tulsa King, Sly's the best. Shout out to the Stallone sisters. Sistine.
Those are his daughters, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They came to the show. Is it Sophie or Sophia? I think it's Sophie. Sophie Stallone, or is it Sophia Stallone? But it's Sistine and Sophia. And the sweetest girls ever. So humble. You would never think they grew up. Sophia. Sistine and Sophia Stallone. You would never know they were like, they just don't act like Sylvester Stallone's kids.
Yeah,
they just act like two like really humble, cool kids. You know what I mean? And I say kids like because I'm 40 and they're in their 20s probably. You know what I mean? But they were so sweet, man. Sistine loved Bunny. This is how Bunny changes my life as always. Found me through Bunny.
Wow.
Then seen they had a documentary about me on Hulu. I was like, oh, well, this is Bunny's husband. Let's see what this is about.
Right.
Loves it. And then, like, Sistine being a true champion, thank you for this forever, Sistine, rallies her family around one night. Like, hey, y'all gotta watch this. This is a crazy documentary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they watched the documentary too. So from there on, they were just like, and then how the world works, fast forward, David Glasser is a producer for 101 Studios. Met him at Stagecoach. We've been friends ever since, like talk all the time. Yeah. It was so cool because he was like one of those dudes. It was like just super nice and humble. And he's like, I know we don't talk to people, but I just want to come say we love your music. And his wife was the sweetest woman ever. And he was like, yeah, I produce television, man. We should just, whatever, man. Anything I can ever do to help, I'd love to help.
Right.
We just kind of parted ways. And I didn't think much about it. I texted him and I was like, hey, good to meet you, man. He's like, yeah, lock me in. I'm David Glasser, 101 Studios. And at that point, I kind of copy and paste. And I'm like, let me see who this guy is. And I'm like, he does all my favorite shows. So then I hit him like, yo, I don't want to be a super weirdo here, but like, I think Mike McCluskey is I think he's the new Tony Soprano.
Right.
Right? You watch this show? Yeah. Kingstown?
Yeah, for sure.
I think Mike McCluskey is like, and then I'm like.
Shout out to Paramount.
Right? And then he does Yellowstone. And then they do.
Yellowstone's amazing. I haven't watched any of the Yellowstone spinoffs, but yeah,
Yellowstone's crazy.
Yeah.
So then we get to talk about Tulsa King, and he just can tell I won't shut up about it.
Yeah. Because
I'm just like, this show is so well thought out. I was like, Sylvester Stallone is back like he never left. I'm just like, this show, the show is fire.
It's a great show.
I don't care who you are,
Paramount
dude.
Plus got some heat.
You
man.
go sit down and watch fucking Tulsa King and tell me it ain't one of the best shows on TV. You're fucking lying.
Great show.
You know what I mean? It is so good. So he was like, yeah. And what's so cool about David was, go back to our Paul Rosenberg conversation. People who just have your back and are men of their word.
Yeah.
Paul told me I had my back 10 years ago and kept up with me for 10 years. David goes, oh, dude, we're shooting the next season in Atlanta. Just drive down one day and at least come hang out on set. Maybe we'll get you in the show. But I'd love to introduce you to Sly. So when he called Sly, I was like, my daughter made me watch this show. I love this guy. Put him on the phone right now. Let's put him in the show. And immediately, it like calls me. And Sly's such a creative on that show. When he FaceTimes me, Cam Fordham put us on the phone together. As soon as he FaceTimes Cam hands me the phone. I'm at my Dunkin' Donut commercial, so I'm already having a weird day. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm doing a Dunkin' Donut commercial right now, and Sylvester Stallone's on the FaceTime. And he's like, this is my idea. And he shoots his idea at me right then on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to mistake you for a janitor, and we're going to let me put some egg on my face. It'll be funny. I'm going to set you up to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was like, I hate to keep circling back to previous conversations, but I love podcasts that have themes. It's like Austin Theory. Like I realized right then that Sylvester Stallone
was putting you over.
He just was putting me over, dude. He just wanted me to look as good as I could.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was just in a place where that's what his heart was. And I'll forever clip this and send this to me so I can send this to him and his family because thank you forever, Sylvester. Honestly.
Acting next.
I want to do it so bad.
Yeah.
I want to do it so bad.
Well, you know they're
I'm ready to just move to LA and try.
Well, they're
go
about
get a
to-
little acting coach and stand in line and
You're going to get
jobs.
typecasted like a motherfucker and then fucking in prison.
Oh, I'm going to be every fucking... But you know what? I told him, I was like, if they ever need a prisoner in Mayor Kingstown, I'll be a prisoner for y'all.
Oh, hell yeah. No,
I'd rather play a crooked cop or a real cop.
a crooked cop would be fun.
Oh, I might get in trouble for telling this story.
Yeah.
You ever seen The Rookie?
The Rookie? No.
The Rookie on ABC?
Oh, The Rookie. No.
It's like an
heard
ABC,
of it.
like
I've heard of it.
family...
I'm
like,
aware of the show.
It's like
yeah.
a dramedy.
I'm aware of the show, yeah.
I love it. Me and my wife and daughter watch it all the time. I was going to get to be on this season, dude. I had the coolest scene ever. I wasn't jelly rolled. I was like something else.
Yeah.
I was going to go get to be on be a part of my favorite show. And I thought I had a gallbladder attack the day before we flew, to the point that I went to the hospital and I missed the scene.
Oh, shit. Oh. But that's the next thing to try to tackle?
Yeah, man.
Acting.
Yeah.
Well,
dude,
listen,
that's like, my daughter like busts my balls about that now.
when you do a 28-song project, you have a lot of songs to work. So I feel like, is it safe to say that this album is going to live with us for a little bit?
I can tell you that I'm not we were talking about the artists that take their time to put out albums.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my time to put out my next album.
Yeah.
I hope Beautifully Broken can suffice people for a while, because I'm going to do some acting. I'm going to really focus on now. You're getting good stuff today from me. My next goal too is that the next 100 pounds I want to lose a little different than the first 100. The first 100 was just head down, eat right, drink water, exercise, get it off. I want to start lifting. I want to make sure that when I do lose the next 100 pounds, that the body,
crazy, yeah.
it doesn't look. I don't want to look weird. So
that's the next thing.
Yep, that's the next thing. Focus on health. Focus on acting, and really slow write the album.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it feels like an album full of singles.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
To go, just keep working this album, man. Take it slow. Just keep pushing Beautifully Broken. Festivals only next year, and travel abroad.
Yo, would you? I mean, obviously, and you're not going to stop doing features though, because you're kind of like the go-to feature. I feel like you're becoming like a go-to feature guy.
Kel told me I was the White Wayne in 2011.
It's what it's feeling that way.
That's what MGK said. I loved him for it. But no, I'm always up. I'm a collaborative guy. So if somebody, especially if a friend of mine or somebody I really adore sends me a record, I'm always in.
Would you ever do another Waylon and Willie with Struggle?
Me and Struggle are definitely going to do another Waylon and Willie. We got a single coming out next year that we're going to go to country radio with, his single featuring me.
Fire.
He's I'm proud of Struggle, man. One, he's putting out a great body of work right now. He's fixing to go out on tour. Struggle's just always working. I didn't get him on this album, and it was kind of intentionally. I've had him on every album I've ever done, and I think that I wanted to let him. He toured with me last year.
Yep.
And we intentionally was like, yo, take a year, go out there, and you know what I mean.
And kind of like grab your people in.
For sure, like go out there and plant, because you haven't even got to go plant his flag yet. He's been so with
Go plant
Between
your
Me,
flag,
and then
yep.
he'll go do a couple of headliners himself with his artists like Caitlin Curtis and them. But he hasn't
Right.
You know, I'll block off half that dude's schedule every year with my shit.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, go keep building. Drop Monte Carlo. Drop these records that you've been working on. El Camino. Drop Monte Carlo. And then we'll double back around and catch a wave in a Willie probably end of next year, next couple of years.
Could you see yourself?
He'll go on my next American tours year after next. 26 he'll be up for me for sure. I'm gonna take him abroad wherever I can get
Right.
him.
Could you see yourself doing another hip hop album?
I don't know, man. I don't have.
If you get, you'd have to probably get the itch, right? Like something.
I'd have to
inspire
really,
you,
something would like, and I would spend a lot of time thinking about what the subject matter was.
Mm-hmm.
I rapped about certain things for so long that I wouldn't even know how to, and I was always so honest in my raps that I don't know if I would even be allowed that kind of honesty right now in my life, you know?
Yo, I mean,
I don't know. I just don't know, man. I don't have the itch at all, dude.
Well, we're
I know
talking
that
about
hurts
this.
some people's hearts out there. That
There's so much money. There's so many deals.
I would rather do a hook for Big X's album, which I'm working on.
Oh, so you're working on?
Yeah, I'm working on a Big X record. I would rather do something for Mexican OT. I would rather work with Joyner again. I would rather work with him again.
That makes sense.
I would rather I think I'm bringing more value to hip hop right now than I ever brought to hip hop, and I hadn't rapped a bar in 5 years.
Right.
So it's like I think I just want to keep doing that because I think I want to do another Tech Nine record. I want to make sure that I want to help hip hop, and I don't think I would help hip hop by trying to be hip hop.
Well, and I think too, like you're like you said, if Dr. Dre calls. You're to me, you're pretty genreless, man. I feel like you've kind of always been that way. So it's like
for sure, and like that's a big one. You know what I mean? That's huge. Like I'd like to work with somebody like Rod now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you and
one of
Rod
the
Wave's
others.
got to happen, man.
But yeah, that's my heart. Maybe one day I'd love to rap on somebody else's stuff for fun. I always joke with all my rapper homies, like, if you ever get one that really makes sense, you know what I mean? Maybe I can slide a little sneaky 12 in somewhere and see if I still got it.
Yo, can you speak
Struggle
to me?
could get it out of me. Struggle, Adam, they could get it out of me probably.
Maybe Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf could get it out of me.
Yeah.
But once again, I think I would do Wolf more by like Trailer and the Skyhook.
Which was great.
Where Wolf rapped and I did that. I just think I bring more value to the song by doing what I do.
Yeah. It is wild. Do you still have a ton of those day one like fans who maybe, because you are a part of this like underground hip hop world that was very niche. It was like, and I was a part of that world, with Ritz and Wolf and yourself, and we can go on and on and on. I guess like what would we call that? Kind of like the like 2010 white rapper.
Yeah, yep. There was an era
underground
there.
white rapper
that's
thing.
about right.
Everybody was all the famous white rappers are going at each other. Yeah. But it's like, do you still see those same? Because you were talking about back in the day, you would give pizza in Knoxville to the people standing outside when you'd sell out, and you're like, yo, we should do that again. But like, do you still run into those crazy like day one fans who?
Oh yeah, all the time, man. They're awesome. I went to the DMV. I was home. I've been home 2 days in the last 100 days. They were just like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Walking to the DMV, I've been in there 30 seconds, right? And I'm just looking for somebody I know to go, hey, it's not letting me set this up online. I'm only in town for a day. I need to bring my daughter to get her license, which I am proud to announce on the Bootleg Kev podcast. My 16-year-old daughter, Bailey Ann, is now a licensed driver.
Congrats.
It's a huge deal.
Big deal.
Huge deal. So I walk in, and the first person I see is a dude with a Jelly Roll shirt. Not making this up. First dude. I run into him. And I'm like, what's up? He's like, dude. He's ghost white.
Yeah.
You could tell he's like been with me a long time. He immediately shows me like a game Bad Apple blended tag. Like my excuse me. Sorry, two of like the original brands that we tried to take off. And he's like, I got a brother in the car. Can you meet him? I was like, yeah, let me go talk to this person. I'll meet him on the way out. So I take a couple pictures and I meet the DMV people are so sweet to me. The girl I know immediately gets with the manager I know and they hook me up what I need and I leave. And I meet his brother on the way out, and his brother goes, now, you don't get me wrong. I like this album of yours, but when you going to drop some of that good shit again? And I go, good shit? And he goes, you know what I'm talking about. This stuff's... And he shook his hand.
He's like, I need you to do something with Haystack.
He's like, I'm talking about... And I said, listen, man, don't take this wrong, sir. I don't want to sound like Andre 3000 or get in trouble here, but... at 40 years old with a soon-to-be college kid, I'm not sure what I would rap about. You know what I mean? I'm not sure that people would even want to hear what I rapped about right now. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're not gonna rap about slaying freaking crack. You know what I'm saying?
for sure. Like slaying puss.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Those days are all behind me. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, you know, I'm not gonna rap about. I don't know. I guess I could rap about what's happening in my life now, but I'm kind of, you know, I don't know. I'm having more fun telling other people's stories.
Yeah.
And I've never done that in hip hop. I've only kind of expressed self. So I'd have to find my way into it. It's just,
are you still, when you have, you know, your background that you have, and I'm sure a friend group of a certain, you know, amount of people who may or may not be up to criminal activities, you know, when you come from that lifestyle, you fall out with people. But when you have this meteoric rise to fame, it feels like the people who are closest to you or where you're from, usually in hip hop, of course, you get the most hate from. You know, oh, you didn't bring me up with you. Do you like how do you deal with that shit, dog? Because like even me and on whatever level of success I have, like, I deal with that shit all the time.
Man, it's really hard. It hurts. Thanks for bringing this up because it's probably one of the thorns in my side of life that it took me a while to forgive myself for not being able to do everything for everybody.
Yeah.
But somebody told me you can't be everything to everybody. You know what I mean? And I just started forgiving myself and giving myself grace. You know, where it's like, look, man, if you think that I'm responsible for bringing somebody up, your mentality's wrong anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I remember in a time where my entire, like, world felt like it relied on the actions of another man. You know? Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
That's not the way to go through life, man. If your success is dependent on anybody at all, you're in the wrong area searching for it.
Yep.
So if you're looking for a homie to do this for you, or you got a buddy that's doing this, that he might be able to give you a look, or this guy might be able to do this for you, if you're one of those people, that mentality is going to tear you down. That's that street stuff that tore us down for years. It's also the same street stuff that'll have you I was thinking about this the other day, that the streets will train you to let somebody come in your house and shoot your child and you not call the police on them. Think about just now that I'm an adult and I even say that back out loud. I go, how did I believe that? How did I buy into that? You know what I mean? Like, how did I even let that become a thought? All that stuff works hand in hand to me. All of those are the same language. Other languages I look for now that I pay attention to language now, Kev. That'll do, you know what I mean? It's like entitlement words.
Oh yeah, entitlement's the worst, man.
You know, these are the things that are like, or even friends who are like, I had a friend tell me recently, he's like, you change, man. Don't act like you're not different. And I had to really take perspective of that because it hurt my feelings, but then I thought, I was like, he's totally right, I have.
Yeah, well,
because there's no way you have this kind of schedule and this kind of clarity and you're working this hard with this kind of a mission and purpose, and there just not be changes that happen. Like, yeah, I've changed. I've got 537 unread text messages. If yours is one of them, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's like 180 people whose mouths I have to feed on tour.
Yeah, it's like there's 180 people that are counting on me to make sure they're on that stage tonight. And that's not counting the 14,000 people that came here to get served.
Yeah.
You know, there's like, we look at this like church, man. We're here to serve, dude. We're not here to do anything but serve. We are here to try to make people leave this building feeling better.
Your viral address to Congress, I thought, was one of the most just beautiful moments, dude. Like, it was fucking insane. I know you've talked about it a lot. I know that there was a bill that ended up getting passed, right? That
it did. The Fentanyl Act was put into law.
I wonder,
I'll tell you a story about that off camera. Remind me.
Got you. I wonder, like, for you do have so much good grace, so much influence right now. Like, is that like an area in which you want to still kind of be active in terms of?
Yeah, man. I definitely want to just. I want to go
side.
use my. No, that was a one and done for me. Unless they need me for something that I'm convicted about. As you can imagine, every senator on America called me, sent us an email the next week with a cause. But I'm just wasn't interested.
Yeah.
I'm very specific into I don't like politics. I just never have.
I mean, you can't even vote, right?
Yeah, I can't vote, so I don't have.
You're a felon. Yeah.
Stuff. Somebody give me my right to vote back, and we'll start negotiating.
Yeah, that's when we'll talk. Yeah,
but I'm an ally in need of things that I know.
Right.
You know, I'm just also big about not talking about shit I don't know.
Yeah.
I knew that particular subject pretty well. There's a couple other subjects that if it really came up, I'd be willing to go try to speak about. But I just wanted to make sure that our people had a voice that day. That was real simple for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think too. It's like, you know, going back to what we were talking about with the AA meetings and, you know, having family members who are addicts. Like, legitimately, people look at, and I just heard you talk about this, but people don't acknowledge addicts who are in a really low place as like people. They really dehumanize them, and you know, I think that like, to me, that was like an important moment to like shake people up and be like, yo, there's like, you know, the airplane reference you made.
Yeah, the airplane reference is real. That many people die a day as if a plane crashed every
100%.
single day. And it's because we've long had this thing in America where we look at everybody as it's a personal thing. We have no sense of community no more. To be have more tribalism in America than we've ever had.
Oh, it's the worst.
To have more tribalism in America than we've ever had, I feel like we have less community than we've ever had.
And you know what's crazy is most of the major shit we all agree on.
Yeah,
right.
It's crazy. But
think about it. Like, I think we all agree that like our tax dollars, we'd like to kind of know that they're helping, you know, us a little.
Right.
You know, not getting, you know, sent over to fight whatever war.
100%. It's just, you know. But once again, it's like back to that point. We've lost our sense of real like community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Feels so divided. Everybody, it's like, dude, if we don't agree on this one thing, it doesn't mean that we can't agree on this, or we can't have beer, or you can't, you know.
It's like, man, or just say, hey, man, we just don't agree about that. Let's talk about something we do agree about. I wish we would just focus a little more attention on the things that we do agree about. We can make so much more progress.
100%.
It's like, all right, let's quit arguing about the stuff we don't agree about for a few minutes, and the 4 or 5 things that we all agree about, let's go forward with that. But yeah, back to the addict talk. I say that because we look at them like, they chose to get on drugs. Fuck them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, but like, nah, man, that's Bootleg Kev's son's mother.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is so much more bigger than her. Let's think about her son.
Or
think about how it affected her mother, how it affected
right.
Kev, how it affected Kev's wife. Kev's wife had to marry into a whole situation to convince an 11-year-old young man to be a mother. It's like, this is then you start seeing the true impact. The drug addict is not the victim here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not, and I'm not saying that they're the aggressor neither, whatever, you know, but saying that, you know, the victims of drug addiction are so much further. Let me change that. Restate this the right way. The victims of drug addiction are so much more than just the drug addict.
The drug addict. It's the family
so
members.
The drug addict is a victim of drug addiction. So it's like the victim of drug addiction is so much more than just the drug addict.
How do you because, you know, with the last few years, man, I'm assuming like you need your wife more than ever now, right?
Yeah.
How do you guys, like, how has your guys' relationship evolved with the new success, and her own success as an entity on her own? Her podcast is massive.
Bunny's podcast is huge. Bunny's Patreon is huge. Bunny's TikTok is bigger than mine.
She's going crazy. I mean, she really. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but she kind of broke the Skylar Grey record. It was her TikTok, right?
It was her, sure. What's even cooler about that was I sent Bunny the album and said, if any of these songs touch you in any way that you want to post them,
go ahead
and help me out, please. You know, I'm just like, we're that kind of with each other. And Bunny's like, because she's my wife, she's like, I'm going to post something. I got you, no problem.
Yeah.
And then when she did that, I was like, oh, man, because, you know, Bunny had never shared that side of her story a lot. And I won't either because that's her story to tell.
Of course.
But I wrote that thinking about her, and she knew that. So for her to like be like, you know what, man, I'm going to stand on this now. For all we know about Bunny, when her book comes out, we're going to find out that we don't know about Bunny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like, Bunny's been through a lot more than even she tells. So her connecting with the song, but dude, we see each other less, but we communicate more. And that's kind of the rule, is that if you're not going to be able to see each other and spend time together, we got to fill in the communication blank.
Yeah.
So every night we'll talk for hours if we're on the phone, if we're not together, and just catch up. We still prioritize making time for each other. It's just important things to do, man.
Any new brand deals on the way?
Hey, dude, did you see my Hey Dude shoe?
No, I did not. Oh, is that what these
Yeah,
are?
that's right quick.
Oh, these are the Hey Dudes. Okay.
This
I've
is
seen the shoe. Yeah.
This one's a piss dirty one because I'm wearing it everywhere.
Those are great.
But dude, I'm sure Hey Dude won't mind me sharing.
I'm gonna need a
this.
12 Hey Dude.
I got you. Don't worry. On the inside it says "Made for the Beautifully Broken." I mean, these are just cool. I love Hey Dudes. We wear them anyways. They're just insanely comfortable. And we did a deal with them, but I'm sure they won't mind me saying it. It wasn't a one-off. We're doing a big deal with Hey Dude. Everybody who's we only did a very limited drop for the album, maybe too limited in hindsight because I've seen a lot of people that were upset, and I don't like to upset people. I'm not trying to be a rare drop artist, I'm for everybody all the time is how I always want to be, but we maybe slightly under anticipated what the demand could be too. But we also wasn't worried about it because Hey Dude and I know that we're in this for the long haul. We got a future together. We got years worth of plans together already in motion of drops every year. So don't worry. It's gonna be good, man. It's probably one. I mean, I got a lot. The Dunkin' Donut commercial was cool. I don't have a Dunkin' deal.
The Dunkin' Donut shit is crazy. Well, I feel like they need to give you your own item on the menu.
Listen,
you
first
have
of
to have
all,
the jelly roll.
Dunkin', holler at me. Y'all know how much I love working with y'all. It was an absolute ball.
Or a McDonald's meal.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Listen,
You can have your own McDonald's
Come
meal.
on, that's a big one. I remember when Travis Scott got his first McDonald's meal. I was like, get out of here.
Kai Cenat just dropped his McDonald's
Tell
meal.
him the flame sent you. I know, and did it with John Cena.
Yeah.
You talking about a big flex? Nobody's bigger than him.
He had John Cena come to his house.
Dude, come on.
What would
'Cause
be-
That's the only way you go to Kai, dude.
That
You
is
go to
fair.
him. He's the king. I would.
Have you guys talked?
Call me Kai. No, please
No.
introduce me.
No, you guys gotta
know
do
him?
that.
You don't know him, do you?
I don't know him, no.
Oh, I want to know him so bad.
He's so funny.
I think he's hilarious, dude. I know Aiden. I talk to Aiden every now and then. I think he's funny too, man.
Yeah,
I love that whole stream culture, man. I think
It is. It's interesting because I the only time I met Aiden Ross, I met him at Dre's. I was there in the VIP and he was live on the internet, and I was there with 50 Cent, and I was just like, fuck, we're on the internet right now, and I'm
with hundreds of thousands of people,
and I'm fucking shroomed out.
You're blowed all the way back with 50. I love 50.
Just
Such a 50 fan.
what would be in
same
your?
thing happened with me and Aiden, by the way. He was at a casino.
Oh, and he was
I was
streaming.
playing, yeah, dude. I was playing with Exposed and Nick Merckx.
Yeah.
We were over there gambling together, and then they was like, Aiden Ross is in the other room. He wants you to come say what's up. And I walked in and said hi just because I'm a fan. And I looked up, and of course he's gambling, but he's they're streaming him gambling. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I looked up, and he was cool. He was like, give Dove Jelly in the chat, y'all, and everybody gave me a Dove. I was like, oh, cool, all right, cool.
Well, listen, dude. #1 album.
Oh, God willing, baby.
God willing, if you're watching this, it's for sure. Beautifully Broken. I'm just proud of you, man. It's been so
I love
cool.
you. I'm glad we finally got to do a pod. We hang out all the time.
Yeah, for sure. We haven't done a pod in a few years, so.
What about the dog? I wonder, is he on either one of them cameras
Yeah.
right now? I wonder if he can be seen just dogging out right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
He
This
slept
is-
next to
this is-
Kev the whole.
I love this dog. Bus dog.
Yeah, the entire.
I feel like he's
show.
been the star of your daily
the daily rolls.
vlogs. Yeah,
dude, he's the most loved thing on this tour.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little surprised there's no Bus Dog merch yet.
Dude, so we're trying to get an inflatable to put in front of the venues for the last 20 shows.
That
like
would be
a
fire.
20-foot Bus Dog.
'Cause
inflatable
fans
for
know
people
about
to
the
take a picture
dog.
of. Yeah, they love Bus Dog.
Yeah.
Bus Dog's a big deal, dude. He's a hit. He was in the Dunkin' Donuts commercial, dude. Look, remember they knocked on the door earlier? It was to bring something in for the Bus Dog.
Oh, that's a Bus Dog gift?
He gets way more
in the
gifts than
Tiffany bag? Wow. That's crazy.
We don't know what's in there.
Well, listen, man, I'm super fucking proud of you, man. I'm happy for you. Congrats on everything. You deserve it all, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Halfway through the tour?
Yes, sir. Halfway through. 20-something shows left. 26.
If you're watching this, I will say this, man, best show of the year.
Woo! Come see it, baby.
Yes, sir. Jelly Roll.